All right, so today we're gonna be talking a little bit about staying consistent while traveling. I know a lot of you guys are gonna be traveling during the holidays, so let's get right into it. The biggest thing is to know that we're not gonna be making a whole lot of progress during the holidays, and that's fine because like the holidays meaning those 2 days that you're off, right? So to really define it, right, it's Christmas and New Year's. Those are 2 days. So even if you have those days completely off, you're still gonna be following the 90-10 rule. So I want to make sure that you guys understand that, when even when you're traveling, right, you're still gonna maintain rhythm and you can treat those as like your off days. It's the same things that you would implement. Like there's no difference, very little to no difference that you're actually gonna experience when you're traveling. For those of you who are traveling for the holidays, it's kind of like just brushing your teeth, like you don't stop that when the holidays start, or like showering, like you don't stop showering. Like this is just self-care at this point. So for a lot of you guys who tend to like who may think that you're gonna fall off during the holidays, that's not the case. It's really just gonna be coming down to prioritizing, just controlling the controllables. All right, the things that you can control. Okay, like where you eat out at, what snacks you bring, and how your hydration levels are going to be. So if you do plan on traveling, right, and you aren't going to be meal prepping, you can stick to steakhouses, sushi, Mexican food, Chipotle. Those are your go-tos when it comes to dining out, especially if you don't meal prep or that way that you can, it makes it very convenient. Like even if you do eat out, you have those options. All right. And if you go to like a steakhouse, you're looking after steak, chicken, fish, veggies, like sticking to those quality of foods. And if your goal is that you're looking to cut or the scale should be going down, then you want to be eating less in calories. So you might want to skip out on the sauces. You might want to skip out on any of the butters or and to stick to voluminous carbs like potatoes instead of rice. And if you're trying to see the scale go up, then this will be a perfect opportunity for you to eat in a surplus, right? So you can have maybe afford a little bit more calories. And if you're looking to get the scale up, then rice will be perfect for that. The travel snacks that you should be looking for. So protein bars are fine, but make sure that the protein bar that you have, that if you do get it, you use this formula. It's you multiply 10 by the protein number, and if that number is more than the calories, then it's very dense in protein. All right. There's a lot of branding mistakes that happen where you guys might see something that says oh, it's a protein donut and it has like 6 grams of protein, but they still call it a protein donut, and they're like, all right, I can just have like 10 of these and it's protein. No, it's false. It's not protein. Just because something has the word protein on it does not make it a protein option. What I want you guys to look at is again, take the number where the protein is, multiply it times 10, and if that number is more than the calories on that bar or that protein labeled protein item, then it's a good option. If it's not, often if you were to overeat on that or have that consistently, you'd get fat from it. So make sure that the protein source that you do have is dense. Beef jerky is a great option. Greek yogurt's a great option. And then of course you have like your fruits like strawberries, and you can get them at almost any store you get. Great snacks to have if you're on a cut. Same thing with oranges, tangerines, watermelon. Those are all really good snacks to have if you're trying to keep yourself satiated during the time that you're away. All right. Also a good way to hydrate you as well. So to really offset the sodium, because if you are going to be eating out at like steakhouses, sushi, Asian food, Mexican Chipotle, the sodium is going to be a lot higher. So you're going to need to make sure that your water intake is like increases by a minimum 25%. So if you had a gallon, maybe you'll do like a gallon plus 25 ounces or plus 30 ounces. If you were doing 90 ounces, you're going to do an extra 20 ounces. That's just an example. And you also want to make sure you're including a source of potassium to help balance out the electrolytes. So that could just be more fruit, That way that you're able to manage that way you don't hold on to excess water weight if you are on a cut. If you're, and at the end of the day, the water weight, especially if you're bulking, you might have like a watery look on while you're away, but as soon as you come back from vacation, from those time off, from that time off, it'll go back down. It's more so if you want to avoid it, then I'd recommend that you manage your hydration. So if you know that you're eating out, just estimate that you're gonna have an extra 25% in sodium, so you want to add in 25% more of water. So, and then of course, prioritize protein first. You can fill the rest with veggies. That being said, that's really directed towards those of you guys who are cutting. And if you're on a bulk or if you're on a reverse, you have a little bit more elbow room to fill back in. All right. Now, when it comes to training, and if you are traveling, the number one thing to really just prioritize is zone two cardio, right? Go for walks. And fasted cardio, which this what this does is that because your body doesn't have any glycogen stores to use as fuel, it prioritizes your body's ability to pull from the triglycerides, like your body fat. So fasted cardio in the morning, like zone two walk, would be a really good way of getting a nice mood boost, increasing your energy levels, and really good for getting some of that body fat to put it to work in the morning. All right, this is a good way to help burn calories without adding stress, okay? So when you do strength training, you're putting metabolic stress on your body, but that's why you do this for 30 minutes to no more than an hour, right? Especially if the definition of strength training is it's high intensity and low volume. Anything, once you start to do like super high reps, like 20 plus reps, anything more than 5 sets, it starts to become endurance style. And we want to make sure that, of course, you're resting enough in between sets, but you're keeping it short, effective, high intensity in and out. So when it comes to strength training, you're just trying to, stimulate the muscle and work with the weight that you currently have. You're probably not going to hit any smash any PRs, but you are at least going to get blood flow into the muscle. All right. And, this is all dependent on the equipment that you have available. So if you have like no equipment for like a day or two, you know, if those are the only 2 days that you're missing out, just have those as your off days, and then the rest of the week you just hit the gym. But this is just for you to know when that time does come when you are traveling, because I know the holidays come around. It's 2 days at the end of the day, uh, Christmas and New Year's, so it shouldn't be that hard to work around. All right, if you do this, you're still following the 90-10 rule. Okay, Christmas and New Year's are only 2 days out of the year. All right, that's less than 1%. So it's not like 2 off days that even if you do absolutely nothing, like you eat a bunch of junk food, whatever, even if you fall flat on your face for 2 days out of the whole month, you're still doing really good, right? Obviously, I know you guys aren't the type to just fall flat like that, especially when, you've instilled these habits of getting your water intake, sleeping 8 hours, going for, a walk, like minimum, like bare minimum, go for a walk on your off day. All right. And when you do eat out, you're making better decisions because the reality is that when you don't have like when you live after working with me, you want to be able to make decisions that are all going to add up and be better for your life. Okay? Like fitness should not be restrictive, right? But that's why you're disciplined for 90% of the month, 90% of the year. And at 10%, whenever it's the holidays, you have those, you can just enjoy it guilt-free. You can celebrate, you don't have to worry about it, and you don't feel bad about it because you were disciplined majority of the year. So at the end of the day, consistency wins. So with that being said, do we have any questions, comments?